So in this tip, we're talking about lifting that left heel off the ground. Now, if you've seen the previous tip to this series, it talks about keeping the heel on the ground. And again, these two tips don't necessarily contradict each other. They're just the right piece of advice for the right golfer. There's going to be some shots and some techniques where we want the heel to stay on the ground, other shots and techniques where we want it to lift, depending on the golfer. So a good experiment that I would like you to conduct here would be to see how much shoulder rotation you already have in your existing swing. So to do that, face the mirror, have the club over your shoulders, try and point the club handle towards the base of the mirror. As I turn and turn and turn and turn and turn, I can get all the way around and I can get myself into a good position and even go a bit beyond. But if a more elderly golfer, somebody with a bad back or bad knees and hips, turns to that same location, they might feel that heel needs to lift. So as I turn again, let's say I'm a bit more elderly now, a few years older, my heel starts to lift to allow me to make that turn. And we can see the lead heel there is lifting as I come around. If that's going to be the case, I actually want to encourage that heel to lift because that's going to enable me to make a bigger turn. If I had to keep that heel on the floor because the guy in the magazine or the guy in the video told me I've got to keep my heel down, I might find that I'm very, very restricted in my swing. And if I was very restricted, I might only be able to hit the ball a certain distance because I can't swing back far enough and I can't get through the ball far enough because I'm desperately trying to keep that heel down. So there's times and places and for certain golfers where allowing that heel to lift is useful. However, we've got to make sure that just because we lift the heel, we don't lift everything else. So as I make a good backswing here, and now lift my heel, it allows me to turn further. What I wouldn't want to see it do is allow me to stand up, bend my arms, and lift my head. Those are three things that often accompany that leading left heel lifting. It's not what we want to do. So I will allow a golfer to turn, lift the heel. What I won't allow them to do is lift their spine angle and posture, bend their lead arm, and let their head lift up too much. So I can lift my heel quite nicely and still hit through the ball quite nicely. What I wouldn't want to see somebody doing is lifting their spine angle out of the ball too much and dropping it down. And really, you should only be lifting that lead heel when you're focused on hitting your bigger shots. So if it's a little wedge, a little pitch over a bunker or something like that, there shouldn't be a requirement for that heel to lift. It's only really focused on big hits, driver shots where you're making a bigger backswing turn. That's when we'd want that heel to lift. So for certain golfers, lifting the heel will allow them to make a fuller turn, a more powerful turn, and actually get through the golf ball better.